Hello, welcome to another episode of Canadian Gamer. Um, I know this hasn't been mentioned in the comments, probably because I only have 7 subscribers. So, subscribe please. I'd love to bring that number up there. So, subscribe. But I myself have noticed this when I'm going over and editing my videos. My voice sounds very different from what I'm hearing and from what my voice actually is. It sounds a bit more childish and younger, which it's not in real life, but I think that's just my mic. Most people who record videos will have a set mic that they plug in and they stand it up, or like they have their thing where it goes down and they can move it around and it hangs. I don't have that. I have a mic. I have a soft mic, a small one, attached to my headphones. When you see your headphones and it's got the cord and it's got the mic right there, that's what I have, so it records my voice differently. So my voice sounds different. Sorry if that annoys you. I don't have the editing software to change that, so I'm really sorry. And I'm gonna try and speak differently and see if that helps, and see if keeping the mic further away will also help with that. But that's just something I've noted. But today, if you are looking at the screen, we will be reacting to the second sequel for The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. And I know this is really late. It came out like months ago. Trust me, I watched it within the first hour, but I'd always planned on releasing it the same day that Skyward Sword released, but I ended up being away from home, and I couldn't record, and plus I was having some screen trouble. It would record my voice, but not the screen. The screen would just be black. So that's why I haven't been posting this month and June, because I was away, and then I had these problems. But we're good now, and from now on we'll be posting 2 or 3 times a week. Tuesdays at 2 p.m. AST, Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. AST, and I think it's Sunday. Yeah, Sunday at 11:30 AST. That's AST is Atlantic Standard Time. So, yeah. So 2 or 3 times a week, depends on what my schedule is. Sometimes. So I have, as of the day I'm recording this, I have a video coming out today in about, let me check. It's coming out, it actually came out 35 minutes ago today, so today is Tuesday. So the video that I'm recording now on Tuesday, it will see on Friday, July 30th, I think. But yeah, so I'll be posting from now on. I promise. I know I started my channel in January 16th, actually. Long time. 4 videos. Over, the course of 6 months. It's really bad, but I have a friend who started a channel, posted 2, 3 videos. She started it in the fall of 2020, but not gonna say who she is. But I know that, but I can't really say anything about that because I myself started my channel in January 6 months ago, and I've only posted 4 videos. But I promise now I'm going to do a better job. It's just school this year was different and hectic, and my schedule was really hectic and different from what it normally is, so it's just been crazy with COVID. But COVID is pretty much died down. I actually, the day this comes out, so on Friday, will be green for good no matter what. Like you don't have to wear your mask anywhere in my home province in Canada, and we're gonna be like no more masks. The only time you have to wear a mask if it is a store specifically asks you to wear a mask. And yeah, so that is fun. So yeah, now that COVID has died down and like school is over, it's the summer, it's just easier for me. So I promise, so I'm kind of like able to get in that routine and start that routine of recording and then just make it like a natural part of my like everyday or every week routine. Not that I really have one, but you know, it helps me get into that feel and then be able to just continue that when school starts. But from now on, I promise I'll be posting 2 or 3 times a week unless there's like some specific reason I can't, like I'm going away or there's like a problem with my stuff. And in those cases from now on I will tell you that so you know if there won't be a video being posted. But let's get into this. And yeah, this is gonna be fun. I love Zelda. I grew up watching my brother play it, so this is gonna be fun. So we've got lots of malice. We've got the malice going up Link's arm. Oh, we got a lot of people think that's Ganondorf. I do too. Looks very similar. Oh, Zelda's falling. Bye bye Zelda. You know, people saying we're gonna have a playable Zelda. I don't know why they thought that. I mean, you do in the Hyrule Warriors games, but in a true canon main like timeline Zelda game, you don't have playable Zelda. You have playable Link. Like done. Only Link. So, bye bye Zelda. She's probably dead. She fell into a chasm with a bunch of rocks. I think she's dead. Unless Triforce power comes. But, yeah, and we're gonna... I need to figure out how to pause this. But... Oh, A. Okay, we're like here-ish. So lots of... Oh, that's... She's dead. I'm sorry, but it's funny. It's not funny, but it is. So as you can see here, we see Link falling into a bunch of floating islands. He's got some new garb. You can see his hand is different on this side. This is the hand earlier in the trailer where he got Malice, so maybe that's some sort of thing. It's also where I think in the first trailer he also like touches the green hand. So maybe that's his Triforce power, because in a lot of things, like the hero wears a green tunic, and the hero possesses the Triforce of Courage. Like in a lot of instances, like in Skyward Sword, not the first Zelda game ever made, but the Zelda game that comes first in the timeline. Like the gods make the Triforce, and then couple 100 years later, Skyward Sword. So, first in the timeline. So we have Skyward Sword. You're up in the sky. In Skyward Sword, I'm using that as an example because it goes with the green hand Triforce theory that I'm talking about, and it also goes with this, but we'll save... Well, not by this, I mean what's on the screen, but we'll talk about this later. Sorry. Funny. So basically, in Skyward Sword, when you would descend to the clouds, the first realm you went to was the realm of Furore, and that is the realm that is associated when later on in the game, when there's trials, it's the realm associated with the Triforce of Courage, and the beam that goes down for it is green, which might also help with the green tunic and the green hand theory, because a lot of people have theorized that that green hand from the first trailer that was like almost sealing, that looked like it was sealing Ganondorf's body, and when Link puts his hand into it, it seems almost like, because in Breath of the Wild, Link's Triforce, like any talk about the hero having like powers of the Triforce of Courage, or like wielding the Triforce of Courage, is like, nope, bye out the door. So, you literally only see the Triforce in cutscenes that in Breath of the Wild. It's very absent from the game. Where, like, I'm using Skyward Sword again, because I've just been watching Skyward Sword a lot, because Skyward Sword HD just came out on the Switch on the 16th. And no, I will not be playing it. I have it on the Wii U. I have the original. I have the non-HD Skyward Sword on the Wii U. And I'm not playing Wii U games yet because it would just be a hassle to like switch all my cords, because I have this. I'm no longer in my basement, in my family's basement, playing on our big TV in the basement. I'm in my own room because I have a TV in my room now, and I have my it's this thing that goes on the wall. You paint it same color as the wall, and you put your cords in it, and then you put it on top, and you like, it sets in on your dresser, and it's like you can't see the cords, and like some of them are hooked up into the TV, so it would just be like a real hassle for me to like take that off and unhook it, and like it's just really it's complicated. So I won't be playing Wii U games. But in Skyward Sword, you actually physically collect the Triforce. And in Wind Waker as well, you don't collect the full Triforce as you do in Skyward Sword. You collect 8 shards of one of the Triforce pieces. So yeah. And so the Triforce was very absent from Breath of the Wild, and like a lot of games, yeah, there's like the Triforce isn't big, you don't like physically get it or collect pieces of it or anything, but it's like there, like in Twilight Princess, it's mentioned, and you can see it there, and you can see the Triforce powers being used once or twice, I think. My voice went up. And like in a lot of other games, even though it's absent, sometimes you can see it on the hand, like even though it's like not there a lot. But Breath of the Wild, Link's Triforce, 100% absent from the game. Ganon's as well, actually. Of course, he's in his Calamity form, so that would make sense. But a lot of gamers' theories is that at the last time Calamity Ganon had appeared, that Link's Triforce power had physically been taken out of his body to use to like keep the Ganon body there, So yeah, and then with Skyward Sword, you see all these islands in the sky, which are very similar to Skyward Sword, where in the lore they had been Hylia, the goddess Hylia, who was still alive at this time, gathered all the remaining humans of the land, got them there, sent them up on an outcropping of rock and ground into the sky, and that became known as Skyloft, and there was a cloud cover, so no one could get down until Link opened these little itty bitty openings that like nobody goes through except him and one other character who just follows him because he's jealous, because he wants to save the girl, who is Zelda. You'll understand if you watch someone play the game, if you play the game yourself, or if you do eventually play the game. 1 second. Excuse me. I need to cough. Yeah. Anyway, just ignore the fact that I just coughed earlier. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. So this is very It seems very similar. It seems like, and it seems very fitting because this is supposed to come out next year. They didn't give us a specific date, but they said 2022. And everybody's like, oh my god, they introduced this trailer like in 2017 or 2018, which is true. It's true. Not this specific trailer that's on the screen, but they introduced the first trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. So it's very interesting that they chose to do a Skyward Sword HD because there was no talk about it, and it's very interesting that they chose to make Skyward Sword HD and release it 1 year before this comes out. And in the trailer, you've got these floating islands. So I think some reminiscence of Skyloft or the Skyloftians and their Loftwings might be in Breath of the Wild 2, and it seems very interesting. And this is not my first time seeing the trailer, so I've seen the whole trailer. And I won't spoil it if you haven't seen the rest of the trailer. I'll spoil it when you do at the further into the video. If you watch that far, please do. But so yeah, and as you can see, his clothes, Link's clothes in this one, although they aren't super, they don't resemble they aren't Skyloftian clothes. They do resemble a similarity with the linings at the end, the white linings at the end of his like green garb thingy, and that belt like around the waist with the pouch. Those shoes are reminiscent-ish. It's different. It's almost like an updated version. And as you can see, Link no longer has his ponytail. A lot of people who have reviewed this or like analyzed this say, "Oh, Link's hair is longer." This is a problem for me. Link's hair is not longer. It's just not in a ponytail. If you would take a shot of him standing up here, of this version of him standing up, and the Breath of the Wild version of him standing up, and look at their hair, it would be the same length. It's just like the longest part would be about the same length. It's just he took his ponytail. And in Skyloft, they have very iconic hair. It's like very, if you know who Tetra is, Tetra's from a Zelda game. She's the pirate. Secretly, nobody knows, but like boat dude knows. Well, he doesn't know. He only has a hunch. That she is actually secretly Princess Zelda. No, nobody knows except Boat Guy. Talking Boat Guy has a hunch, but you know. She has hair. It's almost like a ponytail, and it goes up, and then it rolls up on the top of their head. A lot of them have very iconic hair similar to that, but some of them also have hair like that, where it's long. It's typically longer. Link actually has hair like that. It's not in a ponytail in that one, and it's not long, but it goes longer than your average hair. Than your average male haircut. That's not like long hair. So yeah. Now that took really long, but we're gonna continue with this trailer. They did that. What you see there, that was something that was done in Skyward Sword, where they dove off their platforms and they whistled and called their Loftwings, which are these giant birds that they flew around on to get, because there was like one big island, but there were a few other mini little islands around up in the sky, so they used their birds to get up there. And now you can also have a better look at Link's arm. It seems very Sheikah-esque, and it seems actually very similar. If you look at like the beige parts that are popping out a bit more, it looks very similar to the white lines of design that were on the hand from the previous trailer. So that suggests something there. But yes, this seems very Skyward Sword-esque. Another place, there was one 2D Zelda game where the Zonai who are in the sky, which a lot of people think is a callback to Skyward Sword. I haven't played that game or seen that game, but I know of it. It's a Zelda game. And also in Twilight Princess, there's a city in the sky, and you actually visit it. It's not, well, and it's not very much like Skyloft. Of course, it is a dungeon, and it's meant to look and be like a dungeon. But it is a tad bit reminiscent of the dungeons in Skyloft. Well, one, like the design mainly. And there are little chicken people. They're literally like chickens, but they're not chickens. I don't know. I forget what they're called, but it starts with an O. Yeah, so they, excuse me. So there are a few instances in other games where Skyloft or like Skyward Sword or like the people living up in the sky have been referenced, but nothing that seems like direct. This is literally like Skyward Sword. This seems not direct, but it just seems more Skyward Sword-esque and a little more pointed towards Skyward Sword, especially when you take into consideration that Skyward Sword HD was just released on the Switch. Just the clothes, from what you see in Skyloft, just the printing on the clothes is very Skyloft, like Skylofty and Skyward Sword-esque. So I think it will be, it's very inspired like that. You can see if I back up, if I back up here, you can see the paraglider got an upgrade. You can see Link's wearing some warmer clothes on his bottom. Those aren't very Skyward Sword-esque to me, but there's many different clothing items in this game. And in Skyward Sword, it was like, you have your clothing, then you get your green tunic, and then it's done. With Breath of the Wild, and it seems in Breath of the Wild 2, you can change, but it would seem it would be very cold up in the sky. But yeah, this is very similar, and then you're on an island. To me, that is not familiar to Skyward Sword. The design, not the design of the thing itself, but the details, like the rock details and the patterning is also very Skyward Sword-esque. I know we're focusing a lot and talking a lot about Skyward Sword, but it's just a lot of these things remind me in seeing Skyward Sword-esque. So it's just, that's what we're talking about, because a lot of this just is so similar to Skyward Sword, and the fact that Skyward Sword HD was just released a year before this, and at the same year, a year before this game will be released, like this trailer was released the same year. They both just seem, the design seems very similar, so that's why we're talking about it. But this also does remind me, like, it seems almost an upgraded version of the BMOS from Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. Not Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, but the first Hyrule Warriors, which I have played and will play on the channel at one point. That is a bokoblin camp I see on a stone talus, so that is very interesting. So it seems like these monsters will be harder, and honestly, it just seems very creative, actually. So it seems very interesting and fun. It seems the graphics are pretty similar, on the surface, because, yeah, part of the ground was ripped up. Sky. But it just seems, I think it will still be very open worlded, but this is very interesting. Oh, and I just noticed the bokoblins have an upgrade as well. They have almost like a moblin horn on them instead of their small horns, so that might be an indication of more strength. Ah, yes, the glowing hand. So we see this is very interesting. this patterning is the patterning is you see the things that have the green lines that are glowing up and the things around them are very similar to the patterning, the white lines on the green hand that was stealing Ganon. I know I've already said it was similar before from the first trailer, but and the color too now that you can see it glowing. Very, very interesting. Oh, this is almost a reverse state. That was almost a reverse stasis. There. Just there. It's stasis, but it pushes everything, all those items backwards. Oh. That is cool. So apparently, Link can go to the bottom of an island and water, and then up he goes. So that is quite cool. That is very cool. So it seems like we'll be able to travel through certain things. Of course, if you were in a dungeon, I don't think you could do that. But it seems like in Breath of the Wild's case, there was only really 4 dungeons as the Divine Beast, and you could like leave those whenever you wanted. So, I don't know if there'll be more traditional Zelda dungeons there in Breath of the Wild 2, but I think for a sequel game, a direct sequel, they would want to probably stick to the same kind of game set as the previous game. Of course, they are bringing back Islands in the Sky, so they might not be. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Those eggs at the little stand with the little egg on it seems like a smaller version of the egg that was on the thing. The big guy, the big green thing that had the 2 eggs on its shoulders. Seems like the same egg. Oh, so we've got Hyrule Castle, and oh, this is very interesting. So Hyrule Castle is literally being pulled up into the sky, and you can, I can because I'm there. But you can hear it. It shows very rumbling like an earthquake. It seems almost like there's malice attached to the bottom of it, and it's just malice pouring out from there. It's very interesting. And here, so we have the floating Hyrule Castle, malice spewing out everywhere. That's very interesting. We've got Hyrule, so it seems the rest of Hyrule is still pretty much in ruins. So this must be not too long after the events of the original Breath of the Wild. So it seems that they still haven't had time to rebuild everything. But so we have the Hyrule Castle with the malice spewing there. And then we fade to black, as you can see, and then it's just 2022. Woo! And then la la la. There's like nothing but Nintendo there. So I just wanted to say something. When it's rumbling. Sorry, I exited that for a minute. When it's rumbling, you will see. Trying to like get back far enough. When it's rumbling there, they also show a different clip of that. It's like further back, like way back, like maybe at the start of Hyrule Field, which is like before Hyrule Castle Town and then Hyrule Castle. It shows it rumbling, and I remember hearing from watching somebody else do a video about this when it came out that I forget who, but one of I think it was like the head guy. I know who it is. Can't pronounce his name. I'm not good at pronouncing Japanese names, so fun. I think, yeah, Japanese. And so, but he said, and this is official, it's that earthquake was like more than just Hyrule Castle was lifting like being pulled out of the ground up into the sky. And that was said about the first trailer, which is actually proven because we've seen these islands in the sky. So my conclusion is there will be a very Skyward Sword-esque kind of theme going here while still keeping Breath of the Wild. I think we'll probably have to... I don't exactly know what the quest would be, but it seems very Skyward Sword-esque. It seems very interesting, and I'm excited to see this. So, 2022, we might have an update. I can't wait for a date, but at least we have a year. To all those Zelda fans who are going to watch this, which is probably nobody, but hey, maybe in years and years, and maybe in like a year, when I actually post a lot more, people will see these videos, and they'll see this, and they'll watch it. You know, but to all the Zelda fans who will ever watch this, we have a date. After 4 long years, we have a date. No, well, not a date, but we have a year. We have a year. 4 long years. Only 1 more year to go. Less-ish, actually, depending on when in the year it comes out. So, we have a year. We have a year. To all the Zelda fans who will ever watch this video, we have a year. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and goodbye.